How's it going? So interesting. It's taken a few minutes. If you're watching the replay, welcome. And if you are new here, I'm excited that you're here. We've got some, it's a lot easier to go live than it is to film and upload because upload can take forever and you're waiting around for a while. But anyway, I wanted to touch base because this morning they mentioned to me, they said, there's an option for things to really get better energetically. So if you're here, say hi, say hello, and let me know where you're from. It doesn't let me know, so it's different from like Facebook Live. So I don't always know who it is that's watching, but there's a recent shift in the energies that I wanted to update you on. And it's a little different. So I wanted to say hi because hey Amy, how's it going? Um, a different kind of afternoon. I'm trying to remember what time it is. Yeah, okay. So it's like nighttime on the East Coast, so which is kind of perfect for most of you to be able to join. Anyway, I wanted to touch base because the energy seemed to have just shifted. And some of it you may have felt this morning, but something that they mentioned this morning was, and while I talk about this, let me know how you're feeling with the current energies and what you're picking up on and what you're kind of dealing with. Something that I specifically noticed, by the way, they said this morning. Sometimes it's hard to put a sentence together when all the angels are coming in, but okay. So this morning they said, be ready because there's something really to celebrate. There's something to celebrate over the coming week. There's something to celebrate over like the next few weeks coming into June. And I was like, it's the same conversation that I always have with them, or sometimes where I'm just like, yeah, you're full of it. Because sometimes what I'm currently dealing with and how I'm currently feeling is different from how the energy is going to shift into the afternoon or like even the next day. So sometimes I'm able to um, really pull out of that and do like, there's certain work that I can do to connect with higher realms to keep from, because they are a lot more stable oftentimes. But the main point is, they said this morning, watch out because there could be like real reasons to celebrate within love partnerships. And this is across the globe. So, something that you may have noticed over the past, it's been really wonky for like the past 2 weeks. And particularly what I've noticed through a lot of like love and intuitive readings, and sometimes I experience this like in my own personal experience, is that it's wonky and it's unwavering. And so something that I particularly noticed is that this hit the men really hard and they kind of retreated and didn't take any kind of action whatsoever, and some of the women were just really upset. Now some of you may be in relationships where things ended in either like one or the other partner was just sort of like based on a deal breaker kind of situation, basically ended things. This is different from those that end relationships based on like a frequency split, because sometimes this is something that'll happen with me a lot with people, and it's just like they just keep explaining to me like as you continue to shift, sometimes the people in your life will shift if like they're growing at people grow at different rates, and you get to choose the rate that's most comfortable for you. And for some people like me, I can like be stuck in a situation, be like, that's it, switch, and then it like takes off in a new direction, and then the people around me are just like, what the hell just happened? And I'm like, I decided not to be stuck there. And so you can come with me if you want. I can show you how, which is part of what I do in my spiritual work. So, which is why, yeah, sometimes it can be a lot for some people are like, oh, you just shifted that so quickly, which happened recently. But anyway, for those of you that are dealing with splits based on a deal breaker situation, you may be seeing today or over the next couple of days um, reconciliations. This is something I didn't expect. I did not see this coming, but they did say that this could personally like affect if you situations like this where you may see couples where one said, I really want kids, and then the other one's like, I'm not, and then they took a few weeks and said, okay, is does that mean that it's over? And so like I've seen couples like that where it's like, man, that's too bad, but I got to be true to myself because I really want I really want kids and I'm really sad because I've spent all this time with you and invested, and now I'm just like, got to make that decision. So you've seen partners who made that decision and they're being really true to themselves and stating, this is what I need. This is what I want to experience in life. And I'm freaking bummed that this person has decided not to have kids. Now, what you're seeing right now is for some of those people who made those decisions over like the past couple of weeks. For some of you, it's longer than that, but a lot of them, it's like over this wonky energy that's been going on over the past 2 weeks or so, since right around like April 29th, April 30th. What you're going to see is there's going to be a lot more couples coming together if they took a split. And I mean, we're talking the ones that thought it was over, and thought that it was over, like, and you're going to see this partner come back and be like, I can't freaking live without you. And I didn't see this coming, and I want to be with you and I want to have kids. Like, I can't imagine life without you. There are going to be people that see that, and it's going to be kind of taken aback because some of you are going to be like, yeah, but this partner said for years they didn't want to have kids, and so you're kind of like speechless and going, why did it one? And then what you're going to end up seeing in the next day or so is, why did it take breaking up with you for you to see this? Like, that's where there's going to be the issue that's there. So on top of having reason to celebrate, so many of you are going to see more reasons to celebrate. Because I was just looking, it was crazy. I was doing all these readings over breakups and just watching the men, and every single one of them in the readings were not taking any kind of action. They were just not even replying, not even anything. And this includes, like, and this is probably a little too public to be mentioning, but this includes somebody that I've been like involved with. And so, which is really difficult to watch men be in a space where they're not taking action and they're just like, I don't quite know what to do about this. But today, a lot of that flips on its head, and it's sort of like, this is where I have started to see where things have shifted, and there are a lot of the masculine deciding, and this is like right on the new moon, so it's like perfect timing. And we've got all of, we've got some Saturn stuff going on, we've got some Uranus situation going on that's shifting right now. So you're gonna see it like into the next 24 hours. So for some of you, if you have had a breakup over a deal breaker and you decided to be really true to yourself, and you're just like, you know what, I need this in my life, because they kept telling me about the story with Sonia Choquette and her partner, and there was kind of a deal breaker moment, and it was just sort of like, it's really uncomfortable where you're like, I thought this was going to be kind of like a life partner situation. What just happened? Because I will tell you this, folks, this is the most, and I think this is why there's the most readings around love, is because it's all based on how everybody's acting and what it is that they choose that they want. So there's a number of people that are changing and just re-examining and going, actually I really want this, and being without you is kind of stupid. Like, because there's some people that have had that break and just gone, okay, so this is what it was like before, and now it also gives an opportunity after this like break for some to go back into it and just go, okay, I have, with the contrast that I've experienced, I really have the ability to plug in now and say, crap, I really miss that. Like, now that I've had like this much space, I miss this human, I miss like how I feel when this human's around. Because I've had some of that with a little bit of, separation with someone in my life, where I'm just like, okay, well, at the very least, I realize that these are certain things that I need to have in a relationship. Like, I need somebody that can see me at a certain level, like beyond the surface, or, like, I need to be able to have somebody that's going to weather the storm. I need somebody who's, affectionate, like all these things. So, and realizing how much a certain person's presence in my life has really helped me, even though circumstances aren't perfect, it has brought so much healing into my life, into how my central nervous system calms down, because like when I'm around them, and some of you are experiencing some of this too, when you're around somebody and your central nervous system just calms, and it's same for the other person, and it's just like, okay, why are we not hanging out more? Because this is like healing and this isn't using, because that has come up too, where it's like, well, how do I know this isn't just being selfish or using? And it's just like there's a difference between support and just using somebody. It's something where conscious individuals might be like, oh gosh, this feels really good. What if, I'm taking advantage of that? So yeah, for some of you, you may be seeing partners come back where you're going, holy smokes, that's not what I expected. But this is people that broke up over like the past 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks ago, where you may have even seen like everything was great up until like the 29th or 30th of April, and you're like, holy shit, what the hell just happened? And people reacting and going, and because part of this is just the energetic shifts that are happening that have created people to go, okay, this is kind of intense and we just need to retract. The one thing that I wish sometimes is that people could just communicate. Okay, I need a break. I think this is a really important thing that we need to be able to communicate to one another is, I need a break. I'm going to come back. I don't know when. I just need to process some stuff. I think that's something that each other need to be able to do. It's just the part sometimes where people just up and disappear. But sometimes I think that people are just not intuitive enough or in tune enough to know that they're processing something temporarily, and will come back. So, because I think and that's like a deal breaker for me. That's fundamentally a need, is to communicate. I'm taking a break to process. I don't know how long this is going to be, which is why, like, because if you're living together, you definitely need that. Otherwise, you'll kill each other. It's just, and that's always for sensitives. We need that, and I definitely understand needing my own space. But I'm just like, is this permanent space? Is this temporary space? So for some of you, you may have thought this was permanent space 2 weeks ago, and some of you may see your partners coming back going, okay, poof, the energy just shifted. I have realized I can't live without you. Yeah, and that's basically what you may see. Are some of you experiencing this? Because it seems like Amy's like, you hit the nail on the head. It was completely unexpected for me to see that, and I was just, oh, cool, thanks. Amy's like, I love that picture behind you. Thank you. It is Hawaiian, and I probably should show you a little bit more, but I'm hanging out in my kitchen until I figure out a better place to film. I can't really film on the other side of the space because if the light's behind me, you can't see me. So, but yeah, it's crazy because some of you may find that you were a little bit speechless because somebody comes back and you're like, I was just adjusting to you not being in my life. Like, what the hell just happened? And so you may be a little bit speechless because you're just like having totally let go of it. And it's funny because we're stating right now, like, sometimes that's what it takes to like bring something really into your life, is to just say, okay, fine, let it go. If that's what you want, if you think that is staying true to you, go ahead and do that. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it's disappointing for me personally if somebody has the potential to keep up and they choose not to. But I also can't, it can be physically painful for some of us that are trying to stay behind with somebody that wants to move at a slower pace. So, and that's the other thing too, is if you're doing work and you're growing by leaps and bounds, it does create a frequency split, and that's sometimes when like people can't stay in relationships, and that's a little bit different, and that can be frustrating. And so as I was trying to say, sometimes it's not good for relationships to go like you know, if you're at a high level and then your partner's not, and then at a different high level, it's like you can do that if you have a really strong foundation. But if you don't have a strong foundation, that can be a little bit more difficult to handle. But those are different kinds of relationships that I'm talking about. I'm talking about those that have been like growing together, but there was a deal breaker situation. And they're even stating for some of you it was just like hanging on too tight to something that you needed, and you finally just said, okay, oh yeah, some of you it was that deal breaker situation, but some of you it was just like wonky energies. And that's something Spirit said to me was the energies are shifting. It's doing it on an intense level. Hold out. But I can tell you that I don't always know if stuff like in my own personal life is going to be repairable. That's just kind of the way it is. So I'm just having to roll with it. That's my own personal thing. And but anyway, I just, for those of you that are going through some of this, I wanted to give you some hope, because not false hope, but you're really going to get a good feel for whether or not this is true for you. But be open to hearing something different or some celebratory news in terms of love relationships over the next day or so. They're stating careful not to like latch on to that, but be watching out for better news. So it's just interesting to watch these shifts in energy coming in. So pretty cool stuff. Yeah? Awesome. Do you guys want to chat about love relationships? This is something I've kind of taken a break from doing recently, but it also sometimes comes back in every now and again. Because if my own, I don't know, interesting thing just to chat about, if mine's doing really well, it's a lot easier to be able to do my work. That's something that's true when you get into higher dimensional work. We're not talking about just like being an accountant or whatever. Like that in general, we feel better when we feel supported, but it's required when you're doing higher dimensional work, like intuitive work and healing work on a certain level. So it's really needed. But yeah, it's nice to feel that support and the calmness and things like that. It's just like, yay! Even if I've got an emotional dude, which I love when they can connect to their own emotions, especially here, the guys are different. It's so nice for me because the central nervous system will calm down, and I'm just like, everything's right in the world again. Can you guys relate to that? Is that anything you guys can relate to? So that's speaking from the feminine perspective. But it's nice because, yeah, I just want to say that, express gratitude for that. So Amy says, yeah. So that is so cool. I'm glad you guys could join me live. It's so much easier to go live and have a conversation with you and be able to, rather than wait for the upload time. There's another one that I want to discuss that they were bringing up, but they kept bringing up the story. If you guys have read Diary of a Psychic by Sonia Choquette, it's really good. It's pretty much the only books I ever read anymore, either biographies of like successful intuitive people that have like similar storylines to mine, or really old angelic channel texts, that are just, they're just old stuff from Ascended Masters and books that Ascended Masters have written and stuff like that that are hard to find, but I seem to manage to come across. So, yeah. What else was I going to tell you guys? There was something else. Yeah, but they kept bringing that story up, and they just kept saying, sometimes it's just unwavering in that in between time, and you don't know, and sometimes you've actually made that break, and it's been an interesting thing where sometimes it's hard to just trust when Spirit's like, everything's gonna be fine, it's just a crazy 2 weeks. And I'm like, but how do I tell him it's just a crazy 2 weeks? It's like, the dude is just as intuitive as you are, relax. And I'm like, can't always do that. So it's funny, but anyway, I just wanted to come on and relate to you guys. If you have anything you'd like to share, feel free to comment below, and I'd love to connect that with you. If you guys haven't headed over to my Instagram account for a card of the week, it is a good time to go and do that now. But I will tell you this, it feels really good to to hear, because like all of a sudden it was like within the past, what is it called, like couple of hours, even like the past hour, uh like spirits, like all these couples are coming back in, and I'm just like, seriously, that's really cool. So I wish that for you, if that is the case for you. And yeah, awesome. So um yeah, it's interesting with astrology to be able to see what's coming, because the beings of light call it the cosmic clock, because they can tell you how to prepare for what it is that's coming. Now, I'm basically what you call an intuitive astrologer. I don't have to go check the charts to tell you what is about to be coming up. If you'll notice, a lot of times, so a lot of times, if you follow astrology, you will notice that you come back. Um, let's see. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted. But if you follow astrology, you will go and watch my energy updates, and you'll notice, if you're watching all the different signs, you'll get into an energy update and go, "Oh my gosh, she's talking about all the different signs here." So I don't always pay attention to it in that way. I just read the energy and the messages that they got for me. And then but yeah, a lot of my astrologer friends will be like, "Girl, this is so cool." But there's some of us, they just call us intuitive astrologers, but just tap into the energies differently, and they're all associated with the different rays of light. But that's a video for another time. And it's okay if some of you can't relate to some of this. This isn't a blanket statement about all relationships. This is just about ones that broke up within the last 2 weeks, that were based on a deal breaker. That energy is shifting, and you will see some of them coming back and going, "I miss this person, and this is ridiculous." Like, and they've spent like the past 2 weeks going, "I don't want to live without this person." So that's the sort of stuff that you're going to be seeing right now. And yay for them. That's super cool stuff. For the rest of you, there's, opportunities for new love at any given time. It's basically on what you're calling in. So it's so funny with love timelines. It's always having to do with people's mindsets, what they want, and the actions that they're taking. So are you going to listen to the fears? Are you going to listen to the solutions? Are you going to listen to what you want, or what you don't want? But yeah, something else that they were talking about is the difference between, like, when you're moving on to higher things, and sometimes there's the discomfort between, "Oh goodness, this doesn't feel really good, and this feels really good, and this doesn't feel good, and this does feel good," and you feel both of it. Don't let go of the good, because you're dealing with the intensity of the roughness. That's the one thing. So awesome. Love you guys. Have a really great week. I'll be on live again soon, definitely Thursday, for discussing the weekly healing session, but also discussing, let's see, manifestation. And I just want to close this one out. All right, bye.